We got to get back to doing what's expected of us as free citizens in this democracy. That means being tolerant, being respectful, staying informed, and being engaged. I'm former Congressman Joe Walsh. Follow me here and join the millions of Americans who are renewing their social contract with each other. The social contract, it's on us.
Hey, I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. I do not like them on a boat. I do not like them with a goat. I do not like them on a house. I do not like them with a mouse. One of my favorite Dr. Seuss rhymes. I will not vote for Donald Trump. I would not vote for Donald Trump if I lived on the moon. I would not vote for Donald Trump anytime soon. I would never, ever vote for Donald Trump. I will vote Kamala Harris no matter what. I will vote for Kamala Harris no matter what. No matter what. Because I believe Donald Trump truly is a danger to this country. I truly believe that. And if you truly believe that, and there's been an argument among never Trumpers the past few days, like should never Trumpers, Republicans and conservatives who can't vote for Trump, but they themselves to vote for Kamala Harris, what should they do? To me, it's simple. It's simple. If you truly believe, that Trump is an existential threat to our democracy, really believe that, then you are obligated to vote for the only person who can keep Trump out of the White House. It's never been more complicated than that to me. It was that way with Joe Biden. Again, I do not like green egg. Joe Biden, I would have voted for Joe Biden if he was still the nominee, if he were 181 years old, 151 years old, 131 years old. It did not matter to me because that guy is an existential threat to my democracy. I'm all in with Kamala. And because I'm all in with Kamala Harris, I want to say this to Kamala Harris. And if she doesn't listen to me, and if she ignores me on this, you know what? I'm still all in with Kamala Harris. I want Kamala Harris to do an interview. I want to see Kamala Harris hold a press conference and stand there with 20, 30, 40, 50 mean, crazy members of the media firing all kinds of questions at her. Kamala Harris needs to have a press conference. I say this as a Kamala Harris supporter. I say this as a proud member of Republicans for Harris. Kamala Harris needs to take questions. Kamala Harris needs to answer questions. Silly me, crazy me, old-fashioned me. I think if you're running office in the land, I think if you're running for the most powerful position in the world, you have to put yourself out there and you have to answer questions from the American media, our free media. You may not country, MSNBC, Fox News, ABC, CBS, NPR, all the alphabet soup of the media, but they are there for us. They represent us in a free society. Our free media represents us. Any candidate for president must put himself or herself in front of the media and take on all comers. If Kamala Harris decides not to do it, you know what? I'm all in for Kamala Harris. This is just free advice. I want her to do it. I believe she'd do really well with it. It's been a month now. And let's be clear, let's be clean. She hasn't taken questions. She hasn't held a press conference. She hasn't with the media and answered all. I'll cut her some slack because she was thrown right into this. It's been a whirlwind for a month. But now the convention has come and gone. And now the next half of this campaign begins. And now it's time, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, now it's time for her to sit down and take questions. Should take questions from regular Americans. If I were advising Kamala Harris, if I were her campaign manager, I'd have her out there engaged in an open to the public town hall every single night of this campaign in New Hampshire, in Georgia, in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, in Nevada, taking questions from average Americans. When I was in Congress, man, I set the record, 332 open to the public town halls. I'd come back home to my district and I'd say, Joe Walsh is going to be here with a cup of coffee. If you want to ask Joe Walsh, want to get in Joe Walsh's face respectfully, come on. And I'd invite anybody. These town halls were open to the public. Sometimes we'd get 5 people, sometimes we'd get 500 people. But I felt as a member of Congress, it was my obligation. It was part of my job to put myself in front of the people who hired me, who sent me to Congress, whether they liked me or hated me, whether they voted for me or not. It was my job to put myself in front of them on a regular basis. I worked for them. Crazy, right? As a member, I worked for them. Too many members of Congress, I found, believe that the people, you people, work for them. No, we work for the people. Same with Kamala Harris. If she wins, she works for us. We're sending her to the White House. She should get in front of people. Look, Trump's unfit. He's a horrible human being. As I often say, he's a lawless, un-American psychopath. I mean, just one moment. Donald Trump is a lawless person. He believes he's above the law. He's un-American. Everything Donald Trump says and does goes against what this country stands for. And Donald Trump is a psychopath. He's humanly incapable of thinking about anyone but himself. So I'll vote for anyone to defeat that. And I will vote for Kamala Harris, and I will campaign my rear end off these next 74 Kamala Harris elected, even if Kamala Harris does not hold a news conference, a press conference. I think she should. I think she's obligated to. I think as a candidate for president, it's her responsibility to. And look, I don't care what you think about the media. I got my own opinions about the media. That's not the point. This isn't about the media. This is about a candidate for president. Has to stand in front of the media and take on all the insane questions that they ask. I think she will. I think she will do it. I think she'll do it soon. And here's the thing. I think Kamala Harris will do really well with it. I think Kamala Harris, she's got to answer questions about her positions a few years ago and where her positions are now on various policy issues. KB says she isn't doing a good job now. Why will she do it? She'll do it. Because I know her and her, she's got to do it. But she's got to explain her shifting positions. She's got to explain where she stands on the issues. It's not right that a candidate for president just goes out there and reads speeches off of teleprompters. It's just not right. I know that. And I know she knows that. And I actually think she's really strong, and I think she'll do better. She'll do really better answering questions than people think she will. Hey, I've been in New Hampshire. I was in New Hampshire, still in New Hampshire. By the way, TikTok. Hey, TikTok. That's why, again, this podcast is early again. We'll get back to our regularly scheduled time tomorrow, Wednesday, 11 o'clock every morning Eastern time. I'm in New Hampshire. I've been speaking with Republicans for Hampshire. I'm going to spend the next 74, 75 days going to the battleground states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Georgia, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Nevada. If you want me in your state, Republicans for Harris, contact me. Send me an email. Send me a direct message on Twitter at Walsh Freedom, or send me an email. What is my email address? I guess the old one still works. joewalshwhiteflag@gmail.com. That's all one word. joewalshwhiteflag@gmail.com. If you want me in your state, send me in your state. I'm rallying Republicans for Harris. This isn't an easy thing to do. I'm a former Republican. When you are a Republican and you stand in the public square and you say, not only can I not vote for Trump, support Kamala Harris, the Democratic nominee, that takes a lot of courage, because you risk losing your friends. You risk losing your future in the Republican Party. You risk losing your membership and your organizations and communities and all of it. And so what I'm doing in these states and trying to buck up and help give permission to these local Republicans to do it. I gave a speech last night. I'll tell you something. Beautiful 80-year-old New Hampshire woman, longtime Republican, stood up. She said, I don't recognize, this is a longtime Republican, 80-year-old woman. I don't recognize my political party. I'm not a Democrat, she said, but this may be the last opportunity I have to do something for my country. And because of that, I'm voting for Kamala Harris. This is an 80-year-old, long-time, locally involved Republican woman, former state representative in New Hampshire, recognizing that her time on this planet may be short, opportunity here to put her country first. And that's a big part of what I talked about last night when I spoke to this group of Republicans for Harris here in New Hampshire. I love this country like you all do, all of you. Are you being paid? No. No, nobody's paying me, Jay, to do this. I wish somebody was paying me to do this. By the way, Jay, if you want to pay me to do this, if anybody wants to pay me to do this, again, email me, joewalshwhiteflag@gmail.com. Email me if you want to pay me for doing this. If you want to pay me to keep this voice out there, nobody's paying me to do this. I love this country. Jay, I know you love this country. Every Trump supporter right now on TikTok giving me the middle finger, and on Facebook giving me the middle finger. I know you love this country just like I do. We disagree on what's best for this country right now. I love this country. I love this country's history. I used to teach American government and American history. This is, I believe, one of those rare moments in time in our country's history where Republicans are called to do something really, to take their partisan interest, their tribal interest, to take their party label and put it over here on the side for a little bit and say, okay, I'm a Republican, but Donald Trump is founding fathers feared, and I believe that. So because of that, I'm going to campaign for the Democratic nominee. This is one of those times in our country's history where, in this case, those of us who are Republicans, who understand that Donald Trump is everything our founding fathers feared, we are called right now to put our country first and put our party label to the side. And let me tell you something, Charlie, as you say, baloney. This isn't easy. I did that 6 years ago. I put my party label to the side. And in doing so, I knew I was ending my career as a Republican. As I often say, I knew I was taking a blowtorch to my livelihood, to my career. But that's okay. This is one of those moments in history. I got into an argument yesterday with someone because I think us never Trumpers are patriots. And plenty of you may disagree with me, but we are you may disagree with us, but we are putting our country first. You may think we're stupid, but we are putting our country first. You may think I'm a traitor, but I am putting my country first. I'm not doing this for the money. Again, Josh, I'm not doing this for the money. Marisol, I'm not. Oh, thank you, Marisol, for putting our country first. Never country first, always country first. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm putting my country first. Disagree with me, and disagree if you want with this growing Republicans for Harris movement. But it's all about, even if you think we're misguided, it's all about putting our party and self-interest to the side to do what we think is best. That is the act of a patriot. And I used that word yesterday. And this guy who's a Trump supporter got mad at me. Luann, thanks for the hearts. Got mad at me. You're not a patriot. How come? You mean if we vote for Trump, we're not patriots? And I said, no, I didn't say that. Trump, because you've got your reasons, because you think Trump is best for this country. You're a good, loyal Trump supporter, a good, loyal Republican. But to go against your own interests, which is what folks like me, Harris, to go against our own party in supporting the country first, that is an act of a patriot. And that's what I tried to tell these New Hampshire folks last night. And as I go into Michigan and other states the next 75 days, that's the message I'm going to carry forth. We have been blessed in the year 2024, in the 248-year-old history of this country. We've been blessed with the opportunity. We are fortunate. We have the opportunity to do what our ancestors did. And it doesn't happen often. We have an opportunity to fight to save our country and to fight and save our democracy. That's a good point, by the way, on TikTok. The Democrats need a viable Republican. Don't ever forget that. Right now, we don't have a viable Republican Party. We have an authoritarian embracing cult. The Republican Party is not a healthy party. I say that as a former lifelong Republican. Why vote for Kamala? What is she bringing to the table? Here's why I'm voting for Kamala Harris. Donald Trump is trying to scare you and me into voting for him. Donald Trump said America is a third world country. It's not. Donald Trump says our men and women who wear the uniform are losers and suckers. They aren't. Donald Trump blames America for what Vladimir Putin did 3.5 years ago. It's not America's fault. Kamala Harris is the exact opposite. Kamala Harris will support Ukraine. Donald Trump will support Putin. Kamala Harris will try to reach out to all Americans. Donald Trump will only engage with Americans who vote for him. If Kamala Harris loses in November, you know what Kamala Harris will do? She'll accept the results of the election. She'll concede. She'll publicly congratulate Trump. That's what Kamala Harris will do. If Donald Trump loses in November, he'll never concede. He'll never congratulate Trump. Donald Trump will never accept the results of the election. I could go on. Kamala Harris is appealing to our better angels. You've heard me say that. Donald Trump is appealing, as my partner Mike has told me, to our primal fears. I think we're better than that. I'll tell you as I close this morning, being in New Hampshire, let me just give you a little inside political baseball. I'll tell you what, it's clear to me, being in New Hampshire and in the couple of other battleground states I've been in so far, there are way more Republicans, way more than the experts realize, who are going to vote for Kamala Harris than, again, people know. There's like something bubbling here. Now, many of these Republicans for Harris will be quiet. I met a number of Republicans for Harris yesterday in New Hampshire who said to me privately, Joe, I'm voting for Harris. I just can't say it publicly because I'm involved in this local Republican organization, and if I publicly come out against Donald Trump and support Kamala Harris, it's going to hurt me politically. But privately, I'm going to vote for her. So some of these Republicans for Harris are going to stay quiet, but they're going to vote for her. But I'm finding more and more having the courage to speak up here in New Hampshire and across the country. They're going to have an impact. I'm telling you, they're going to make a difference. And I do not believe the pollsters and the experts yet are measuring this. There's a groundswell of Republicans who deep down, baby, that Donald Trump is bad. Know that Donald Trump is a horrible human being. Know that Donald Trump lies every time he opens his mouth. And they don't want that. They're tired of that. They're sick of that. They want him to go away. I had so many Republicans yesterday on the ground in New Hampshire tell me, us Republicans, they just want Trump to go away. A lot of this isn't measured. And I'm thinking a lot of this will make a difference in November. TikTok. Thank you for listening. Hey, here's the deal. Everybody, back to our regular time, the Social Contract with Joe Walsh, this podcast, every day, 11 o'clock Eastern time in the morning. You figure out where you live and you figure out what time that is where you live. Crank it up back live at our regular time. I agree. I'm going to every time. Hey, Harley, you can call out my lies. I'm glad you're listening. If you think I'm lying, call me out and let's have a dialogue. Remember, guys, call me an asshole, but explain to me why I'm an asshole. Start a dialogue, not a debate. Start a dialogue. Like I get 1,000 every day, thousands of Joe, you're a traitor. Joe, fuck you. Joe, go to hell. Joe, you're an asshole. Joe, you're blah, 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 blah. What's helpful is just explain to me why you think I'm an asshole. And then that will start a dialogue because I believe we got to have a dialogue. I believe we got to talk across that proverbial aisle. Thank you for listening. Follow me here. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, you name it, Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Social Contract with Joe Walsh. Every morning you're going to get me. By the way, this Friday we're going to have a guest, a really interesting guest, talking about polls and why polls are kind of messed up and fucked up. A real inside look at polls. Do I believe we'll ever return to a more moderate society? I think that was Jill just asked me. I don't know about moderate. What I want us to return to, Jill, is I want us to return to a society where you and I can sit down at a table. I got my cup of coffee, you got your cup of coffee, and we disagree passionately about an issue. But damn it, you and I can sit down at that table and disagree about guns. I'm a big gun guy. I'm a big gun rights. You and I can disagree about the issue of guns passionately, but we can listen to each other. We won't yell at each other. We won't hate on each other. And we'll each begin to understand a little bit more why position on guns. Like, you'll understand why I'm such a big gun guy. I'll understand why you want to ban AR-15s, even though I disagree with you. That's the country I want to get to. Even if we don't find common ground, we've sat down, we've listened to each other, we share a cup of coffee, we break bread, we gain a little bit of understanding. I want to get there. It's what I'm trying to do with the social contract. You've heard me say this before. Why do I think America's fucked up? Why do I believe our democracy is truly teetering? It's not Trump. Trump's just an ugly, ugly consequence of how broken we are. Why are we so broken? I think we're so broken because I think we Americans, the people, have stopped doing our job. We've stopped doing what's expected of us. Like, we're so fucking lucky to live in this country. Man, we are so damn lucky to live here. Citizens in still the freest country in the world, but we have responsibilities in this free country. There's a job description for us. You've heard me say it, broken record, right? Our job description is we have to be tolerant. Number one, we have to be tolerant. We have to accept. What does that mean? We have to accept that there are differences. There are different creeds. There are people with different beliefs, people with different sexual dispositions, and on and on and on. We don't have to agree with their stances, but to be tolerant means we have to accept that living in a free country means there are going to be differences. Number two, we have to be respectful. Again, that means we need to be able to respectfully disagree with each other without wanting to kill each other, without hating on each other. Number three, we got to stay informed. Thomas Jefferson said it, man, when the American people stop being educated, informed, forget about it. Forget about that. As a people have stopped being informed. We've stopped being educated. We've grown stupid on civics. We let conspiracies and lies influence us. We're not following the truth and facts. We need to do a better job of being informed. And number four, our job description as Americans, our contract, we got to be engaged. We have to participate. Yeah, vote, but hell, way more than vote. We need to protest. We need to volunteer. We need to back candidates. We need to advocate for issues. We need to organize community groups. We need to run for us. We need to change our politics and reform our political system. Participation. See, this is our job description. Be tolerant, respectful, stay informed, be engaged. That right there, the contract. That's our job description. That's what's expected of us. And we've stopped doing it. It's called the social contract. And we're growing a movement of Americans who want to renew their social contract. The movement, by the way. Follow me on every single platform to be a part of the social contract movement. Thanks for listening, everybody. Love you all. God bless. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time. As always, be brave. Thanks, Keith.
Remember to listen, share, and follow The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to